actually cannot lose this matchup. He is playing New Horizons against Ben Wienburg's Hive Mind. That means Stifle and Daze. Dead.
That certainly helps him out. Not unlosable.
It's pretty bad.
But, I mean, Stifle is fairly good against the Hive Mind deck. Daze is pretty good against the Hive Mind deck, so...
Yeah, I've played some games of this. It's really bad. The other matchup, I do not know what it is, though. Or Kaiwan's not playing against Ben Wienburg, is he? He's playing against someone else. Ben Wienburg's playing against... Man, I don't remember. Man, I wish I knew this right. Man.
Well, we'll get deck lists here in a second. We'll find out exactly what our matchup's going to be. And go from there. Tim came in and talked to us about his Cobblade deck. Pretty interesting hearing his thoughts.
So this is... Oh, this one's real interesting. We've got some real deep in the tank. We got Ben Wienburg, and he is playing Hive Mind. Basem Askoul is playing...
Oh, wow. That's really fun. It's really interesting.
When do you guys want to break?
We're playing the Mud deck.
The Mud Poison deck. Not Conley Woods' build. See, Conley Woods took the original build, and here's what he did. He took it, it had been tuned, tested, and been winning. And then he cut 4 Rishadan ports, because he didn't want Rishadan ports, because they apparently didn't do enough in your Stacks Mantle Denial deck. And then he played 4 Arcbound Ravagers instead. And we tried that, and it did not really cast spells that well. But this list says Rishadan Port, Wasteland. The lands are all colorless. Ancient Tomb, City of Traders, Blinkmoth Nexus, Inkmoth Nexus, Rishadan Port, Wasteland. Your creatures are Ichorclawmere, Plaguemere, Necropede. So just poison them out with Inkmoths and all those guys. Your stacks pieces, you've got Tanglewire, you have Chalice of the Void in the main deck, which is huge in this format that people don't really play that much, but there's a lot of decks that just can't really beat a Chalice. Then you have, to make your guys actually kill them in time, you have Jite, Cranial Plating, and a Sword of Feast and Famine.
Cranial Plating is the big one, right?
Yeah,
like, putting that on a poison creature is just dead.
Cranial Plating's big game, yeah. Mox Diamond, Mox Opal for acceleration, and Crucible of Worlds for the Wasteland lock. So this should be an interesting match. So Ben's deck, for those of you who haven't seen the Hive Mind deck that well, Emrakul's, because you have Show and Tells to put Hive Mind into play, Hive Mind, Pact of Negation, Pact of the Titan, Summoner's Pact, Slaughter Pact. This mod deck's not really going to pay for these anyways, so it might be able to pay for like a Pact of the Titan off a Diamond or Opal. It's got this Hive Mind deck has Force of Will, Intuition, Brainstorm Ponder, and Grim Monolith. Because when you play Grim Monolith on 2, that gives you 6 on 3. That's the important.
Convenient number. Only 3 Grim Monoliths though.
Yeah. You don't really need the acceleration. It's not the best, but it's strong. The problem with Grim Monolith is that you have to pass the turn before actually Hive Minding people with it usually. Mana base, City of Traders, Ancient Tombs, Fetch Lands, Underground Seas, Volcanic Islands. The Underground Seas are only so that you can pay for a Slaughter Pact. Like if you get the Slaughter Pact, their guy on tap, pay for it, and then continue the game. Post board, Ben has Fire Spout, Mindbreak Trap, Leyline, Spell Pierce, and another Slaughter Pact. Or Leyline of Sanctity, I should say.
So here we are heading into round 3. Ben Wienburg versus Basem Askoul. Is that how you say
Yeah, Basem Askoul.
Basem Askoul. Local Ann Harbor guy, you said you know, right?
Yeah, so he was in Paris. There was almost a sequence of 3 PTQs in Detroit, won by someone with the name Basem, but this Basem lost in the finals of the last one. In game 3 of the finals, I might say. Punted at game 3 of the finals to not have that happen. So this should be an interesting matchup to watch. I think Ben Wienburg, when this deck's pretty advantaged, the Hive Mind deck.
You think the Hive Mind deck is favored
here?
Just a combo deck, although there's a Chalice.
Yeah.
That doesn't do anything, right?
It stops Brainstorm and Ponder, but other than that, it's just minor disruption. It's not the same as it is against like Reanimator or Storm.
So it's worth noting Chalice for 0 doesn't do anything against the Hive Mind combo. Because you'll copy their copy of the pact, but not your copy of the pact. This is the important one.
You don't actually, when you get the copy, it just goes in the stack. You don't actually cast it.
Let's see, so he casts turn 2 Grim Monolith, and is that a Plaguemere?
Yeah, Basem Askoul had turn 1 Chalice 1, turn 2 Plaguemere to Ben Wienburg's turn 2 Grim Monolith. Looks like a hive mind's going to come down, and this game might just be over.
That might be it right there.
Nope, just another Grim Monolith. This Grim Monolith is... So Ben has 4, 5.
Number 12, please come to the main of the stage. You sign up for PH tournament. Number 12, please come to the main.
Looks like Ben Wienburg's trying to kill with a Pact Negation, but needs to have the mana to actually cast his spells to do so afterwards. Because with Pact Negation, you do need a legal target. So if you're going to kill them with Pact Negation after Hive Mind, you do have to cast a spell. So it looks like he's setting up to... So he has 1, 2, 3, 4 floating in a blue. So he has 2 colorless mana floating. He's going to cast Show and Tell.
Okay, time to show. I think he's got a Hive Mind, right?
Yeah, he does.
All right.
Basem puts Sword of Feast and Famine into play. Wienburg has Hive Mind. Yeah, Basem's a little sparse on options in hand. Looks like some Crucibles, but nothing really gonna get him there. Ben Wienburg casts an Intuition.
So Basem also gets to cast Intuition.
Yes, he does. But Ben Wienburg's going to respond to the trigger and Pact Negation his own Intuition.
Rough spot for Basem.
He's dead. Not maybe, just dead.
Unless
it involves Spirit Guide Manamorphose to not be dead.
Actually, no, I don't know how. Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
I was gonna. Like the card people are playing is Angel's Grace, right?
Yeah, there's no white mana.
Well, A, Chalice is on 1. B, there's no white mana. It'd be cute. Like obviously he doesn't have a main deck, but it's interesting because Basem does get a copy of Intuition.
So he would be able to tutor for it. But I think Ben is countering...
Oh, he's countering...
But that doesn't matter.
Intuition?
But that doesn't matter because...
the Pact counters the Pact, right? So against some decks, it might actually be relevant.
Sure.
If they have maybe Stifle or something like that in their deck.
Yeah, that would definitely be relevant.
It'd be very relevant. But Ben knows against this deck it's safe. So don't even need to worry about it. So
looking at sideboards, I don't actually know if Ben knows what's going to happen in this matchup, but he might board in Fire Spout. But none of these cards are good against traditional stacks. Fire Spout's the only thing that's maybe good because of the Ichor Claw mirrors, but against normal stacks, you don't really want Leyline of Sanctity or Mindbreak Trap. Maybe Spell Pierce, but not like maybe Slaughter Pack. But realistically, Ben's probably best off just, I'm going to build a combo deck. It's going to be the best straight up combo deck I can build.
Yeah, you just want to be as quick as possible, right?
Yeah. And on Basem's side, Dismember, not very good in this matchup. Umezawa's Jite, not very good. Contagion Clasp, also not very good. Ensnaring Bridge, maybe against Emrakul, but probably not that good. Phyrexian Revoker, also not very good. Maybe name Grim Monolith off that, but maybe board that in just for that reason. And Trinisphere is probably okay, but not great.
Trinisphere. It's interesting. If Trinisphere is in play, it means that they can't patch you immediately. They will pay 3 for the pack.
So it might
buys you a turn.
Yeah, it's probably enough. You'd probably board in 3 Sphere and Revokers. Probably board out Crucibles because I don't think you're going to Wasteland lock this deck. Beyond that, maybe some of the GTs aren't that. Yeah, you need to clock them though. It all depends. You definitely want Cranial Plating. Definitely want Chalice of the Void. Definitely want Tangle Wire. Probably want all of your guys.
Yeah, I think you just want to be as fast as possible. You just want to be as fast as possible, right?
Yeah. This matchup just doesn't work out really well. All the hate cards. I guess Basem could have boarded Sundial of the Infinite if he was thinking, but you know there aren't many hate cards for Hive Mind, and there aren't many colorless hate cards for Hive Mind, so.
Just Sundial.
Just the one.
Pretty much. That's all I can think of. And he doesn't have any, so you're just gonna have to be faster than Ben Wienburg.
Yeah. But this Mud Poison deck's really interesting. It's just an angle that a lot of people don't attack from in this format. You know, like Ancient Tombs and Stydia Traders are only really played right now in this Hive Mind deck. And even then, it's not like the real. I'm gonna play a Stydia Traders so I can tap it once and play Show and Tell. It's not like I'm gonna play Stydia Traders, untap, play an Ancient Tomb, floating Stydia Traders, then I'll play a Smokestack.
Right. Yeah, it's a much different world than the traditional stacks decks you might be used to.
Yeah.
Really interesting. Like I said, we've seen this played a little bit before. Conley fooled around with it for a little while. And saw some people playing it at the Grand Prix, but we haven't
Yeah.
seen too much of it here.
It did not do very well at the Grand Prix. The people I knew who were playing it did very poorly. It's just it has issues with the card Umezawa's GT, and that's where a lot of people were at for that event.
Interesting.
Yeah, like all of your creatures, if you look at it, like Acre Claw Mirror, Plague Mirror, Necropeat, Inkmoth Nexus, Blinkmoth Nexus, all of them just die to a single GT counter, and you don't have actual ways to remove a GT other than your own. So Stoneforge Mystic's a huge problem for the deck.
Oh,
Batter Skull's not a problem. GT is. Gain 4 life, sure, I can deal with that. You don't have a life trouble, but
Batterskull. Yeah.
Batter Skull's not an issue,
Yeah. Yeah,
GT
if they find GT, that's the big problem.
but even Sword of Fire and Ice is a huge problem.
Yeah, it gets Batterskull. You just slam like a Cranial Play on Inkmoth Nexus, right?
Yeah, and they take like 7 poison and die.
It's too perfect.
We've been seeing that all day yesterday. There was a Sword of Feast and Famine and Inkmoth Nexus. We know how that works, right?
Yeah, exactly. No Batterskulls involved, but
No. But there weren't so many of that yesterday either.
Edgar Flores had Batterskull in his
Hey,
Cobblade deck.
Edgar was just playing all the foils, so.
So what do you think the key to this matchup for Basem is going to be? If he's going to try and be faster than Ben?
He just needs all of the disruption. Actually, the key is Tangle Wire. That's the card that he's going to beat Ben with.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, the Hive Mind deck is not. It's not like the Storm deck where like you untap, you play a land, you play a Lotus Petal, and then kill them through a Tangle Wire that tap 2 of your lands. You have the Hive Mind deck. Actually, it's the pay mana. Like it doesn't have real acceleration. It has Grim Monolith that's going to get tapped, and that's really bad when that gets tapped. It has lands, but there's actually no way for it to go from all its permanents tapped with Tangle Wire to untap mana to put Hive Mind into play in the same turn.
Yeah, Tangle Wire seems key, and especially if you can just get a quick start, like go turn 1, Plague
Richard
Mirror,
Import
Acre
as
Claw
well.
Mirror, Necropeed,
Yeah.
turn 2 Tangle Wire, or more stuff Tangle Wire.
Yeah, Richard Import's also real key here.
Yeah, Port locking down lands. Basically, I mean, the Mud deck just has to buy time.
Yeah, the Mud, and unlike typical Mud decks, this one actually has a real flaw. Usually when you see a Mud deck, it's like, I'm going to make sure you don't have lands to play with, like Ghost Quarter, Crucibles, and like Smokestack, and win on turn 1,000,000, and this deck can win.
Yeah, I mean, you just play. I think you should like play a Poison guy, gets like some equipment down, and just buy as much time to like against the Hive Mind combo as possible.
Yeah.
So.
You also, again, with Mox Time and Mox Opal, you can reasonably pay for any pact except for Negation or Summoner's Pact. So like, Titan and Slaughter Pact are perfectly reasonable.
Fair enough.
Some of the list of this actually, I was talking with Basem about this, and he's saying he couldn't find Abysses. The Abyss is really good in this deck because out of the board, because Abyss does non-artifact creatures.
Oh, so it only kills your opponent's creatures
Yeah,
every turn.
but
So
you-
you actually just have the Abyss on your opponent.
Yeah, but you support them off of Urborg, which we were already trying out before because Urborg makes your Ancient Tombs tap without, dealing damage to you.
Right.
So, the same Urborg we saw last round, not the other one. That's a Chalice on 0 for Basem. I don't think he knows quite how the interaction there works, so we'll
yeah,
see.
not sure what that does. I don't think it does
Does
anything.
nothing.
Yeah. Doesn't do anything. All right. Well, maybe trying to figure out. Yeah, I don't think that does anything.
It does
at all.
not do
So,
anything.
Unless,
Hive Mind's a weird deck. People don't really know how to play around it.
unless they were to pact the Titan beatdown.
Or Slaughter Pact. It does. It does in fact stop Ben from Slaughter Pacting any of his guys in combat.
Certainly true.
Slaughter Pact is non-black, not non-artifact, right?
I'm pretty sure it's just non-black.
You think it's Doomblade, not Terror?
Pretty sure it's just Doomblade. I'll look it up real fast. Twitter hasn't blown up yet, but let me check out Slaughter Pact. Slaughter Pact,
Destroy target
not
non-black.
non-black yet. So
That's Chalice 0, Chalice 1 for Basem.
Okay.
And Wienburg had no turn 1 play.
that might make more sense if you think he's got zeros in his deck,
Yeah.
like say Mox or sorry,
I
Lotus
know.
Petal.
Yeah, I know. I have built lists with Chrome Mox and Lotus Petal, but those they aren't really that great. They're just kind of there so that when you go off with Hive Mind, you have 0 cost spells that you can play and then counter with your own pact negations. But the thing I was looking at was Gitaxian Pro to do the same thing. That's a Trinisphere.
All right, so Transfer will come down. That'll make everything Ben Wienburg tries to cast cost a minimum of 3 mana.
Yeah. Though I actually don't know if that's going to do something here. Three sphere. Like Ben Wienburg's going to show and tell the Hive Mind into play probably at this point. So,
I mean, you still can't kill in the same turn. But.
Yeah.
So
Ben Wienburg, Force of Wills.
That's a card that 3 sphere would have certainly shut off.
Yes. And this looks like a show and tell.
All right, time to show and tell. This should be a very fast round. Phyrexian Revoker versus Hive Mind. All right.
Basem's hand is a Cranial Plating and a Chalice of the Void.
And if Ben has the pact, that's game, right?
It is in fact game.
Summoner's Pact.
Yeah. Summoner's Pact and dead.
All right, and Ben's copy gets countered. Basem's resolves. Maybe having to explain how it works. We're gonna have to keep a new match for you here in just a second.
Yeah. It seems like he should not have put the Revoker into play, because that puts Ben Wienburg on being able to slaughter pack. Yep. Then that's the handshake, and that's game.
I mean,
and match.
Yeah, that's game, set, match in
6
less than 10 minutes,
and it's over.
I guess, but you're never gonna win if you don't play a creature in that deck, right?
Sure, but you can maybe wait till you have a better board position or something. like a Mox Diamond to pay for the slaughter pack.
Sure. You could try and kill in one turn with plating Nexus.
He had 2 Nexus in play, so if Ben kills a Nexus, he has to pay for slaughter pack. Or no, Chalice.
Chalice is in play.
Oh gosh. Oh. Yes.
Whoops.
No, he would not have to pay for his own slaughter pack because yes, Chalice is in play.
Fair enough. Well, Ben Wienburg quickly takes that one 2-0, playing Hive Mind. Now you kind of goaded him into playing this Hive Mind deck, right?
A little bit. He messaged me and just what decks are good, and I just said, I think Hive Mind, Reanimator are good if you want to do something broken. Zoo and Bant are good if you want to do something fair, and if you're like in between, you can play Enchantress. But Enchantress is kind of a weird deck to play. You really have to watch the clock with Enchantress and really know what you're doing.
Yeah, you don't want to, also it just takes a long time. Also, you can mess up really easily if you don't know what your matchups are like. It can be a big problem.
And someone can just show up with like a Serenity and ruin your day.
Right. Or a Thief, right?
Oh gosh, crushing souls and dreams since 2010. Aura Thief.
Yeah, Aura Thief. For those who don't know the story,
that was this year, 2011.
That was this year.
Yeah, that was this year.
There's a Dredge player. The short version of the story is Dredge player may have reanimated an Aura Thief and sacrificed it, which says when it dies, you gain control of all enchantments.
Yeah. And they may have been playing against Enchantress at this point in time, and the Enchantress player may have thought they had the hard lock.
Yeah.
But as it turns out, the Dredge player, in fact, had the hard lock.